All right, students. So today, this week, we're going to learn about two-way tables. Two-way tables and relative frequency. So the first thing is two-way tables. A table that displays two categories of data collected from the same source. All right. So what does that mean? So we have a table here, and we're just gonna complete this table with the numbers, and then also analyze the table and answer the questions. So let's start. So the table below shows the results from a survey where students were asked if they play an instrument and if they play a sport. Find the sum of each row and column, then answer the questions that follow. So we're gonna start by adding each of the columns and finding some totals here. First one, well, this way is 9 plus 14, that is 23. Now the next one, 33 plus what? 19. How much is that? That is 52. Now let's find the totals this way then. So that would be 52 plus 23. How much is that? That's 75 here. 14 plus 19. 14 plus 19 is what? 33. And then we have 9 plus 33. That is 42. Okay. All right, so notice that these two add up to that. So this is like the total of everything here, right? So the total of all the students that play sports and do not play sports, the total amount, the total number of students, everything. So let's analyze this table. It says how many students play an instrument. So how many students actually play an instrument? Well, this play an instrument, all the students play an instrument. The total is 23. How many students play an instrument and play a sport? So they play an instrument right here. So notice that the columns, right? So these play a sport, these do not play a sport. These play an instrument, these do not play an instrument. So the ones that play, so my next question is how many students play an instrument and play a sport? So these students play a sport and also play an instrument. It's 9. How many students do not play a sport? So students that do not play a sport in total is all this column here, 33. How many students play a sport but do not play an instrument? So the students that play a sport, right, that play a sport but do not play an instrument are the students, this column right here. And then you have the ones that do not play an instrument is actually this number, 33. So you gotta look at your data here, right? Each column, each row. Next one, how many total students were surveyed? So the total students that were surveyed is this number, this big number. That's the total number of students that were surveyed. All right, let's keep going. Let's make one. Let's make the actual, with the data, they're giving us some numbers here. Let's actually build our own two-way table. All right, so it says, Cindy randomly surveyed students at her school and found that 72 students ride the bus and 37 of those buy lunch from the cafeteria. So 72 students ride the bus, right? And also buy, wait, 72 students ride the bus and 37 of those students have lunch. So in total that ride the bus, there's 72 in total. Now, out of those 72, it says 37 of those students buy lunch from the cafeteria. So 37 goes here. Okay. Now we can find this number just by finding the difference here, but let's keep going. What else we got? There are 19 students that do not ride the bus, but buy lunch from the cafeteria. So the students that buy lunch from the cafeteria, but do not ride the bus. So they buy lunch from the cafeteria, but do not ride the bus, are here, 19. Okay. 9 students do not ride the bus or buy lunch from the cafeteria. They do not ride the bus and do not ride lunch from the cafeteria. So 9 of them. Now we can find all our numbers here. So the first number that we can find is, we said that we find the difference. 72 minus 37. How much is that? That is 35. So this number is 35. We can also find the total number of 19. So 19 plus 9 of this column here is 28. And then we can find these numbers. So that's 72 plus 28. That is a total of 100 students. And then we can find the total of the rows here. So that's 37 plus 19. We have, that is 56. And then we have 35 plus 9. That's 44. Now notice that 56 plus 44 is 100. All right, so the totals should match also, right? All right, we keep going. So it says, let's analyze this table here. So how many students buy their lunch? Well, total students that buy their lunch is 56, right? They're not asking you if they ride the bus or not. They're just asking you for the total here. So that's 56. How many students ride the bus but do not buy their lunch? So they ride the bus but do not buy their lunch. So this is this number right here, right? They do not, and they ride the bus but do not buy the lunch. So that's 35. How many students do not ride the bus? They do not ride the bus. That's a total of 28. Whether they buy or they don't buy lunch, it's a total of 28 students. How many students do not buy their lunch? So the ones that do not buy their lunch, whether they ride the bus or not, they're asking you for the total that ride the bus. For that do not ride the bus, that is 44. I'm sorry, they're asking you for the ones that do not buy their lunch. That's 44. How many total students were surveyed? Well, we found this number. The total number was 100. Both lines, both rows, both columns gave you that. 100 students. Okay. All right, that's constructing a table, and that's when you have actually the numbers there. All right, let's keep going. All right, next one. So it says, Adam surveyed 120 random students in his middle school and asked them if they plan to attend the school musical. Of the 80 students who responded that they are attending the musical, 15 are 7th graders. So they're giving you the numbers here. Of the 80 students, okay, we already have the numbers that they're giving us. So of the 46 6th graders, students surveyed, 13 said they do not plan on going. So they're giving you the numbers, but they already have them here. So we already have the numbers here. So we can work on this. So basically, we have the total here. So to find this number, we can just subtract 13. So 40 minus 13. That is 27. So this number is 27 here. We also have that, so we can add this one and subtract it from this one to get this number. So that's 80. So that's 27 plus 15 equals, and then that's 42. So that's 80 minus 42. That would be 38 that goes here. Now we have that. So 38 plus 10, that is 48 here. So we can find that total. Now we can find this number the same way we found this number over here. So that's 10 plus 13, that is 23, and then 40 minus 23, that's 17. 17 here, okay? Now we can add 15 plus 17 to find that missing total here. So that's 32. And we found all the numbers. Nice, right? All right, so how many 8th graders plan to attend the musical? Well, let's see. Going to the musical, 8th graders, that's 38 total. How many 7th graders were surveyed? Well, this is 7th grader, so all is 32, a total of 32 7th graders. All right, how many 6th graders plan to attend the musical? 6th graders, right here. How many 6th graders plan to attend the musical? So that's going to the musical, that's 27. You just gotta check your table really well. Now, lastly, we're gonna go through relative frequency. What is that? So it's the same information that we're gathering here. Now, relative frequency is so the values in each category divided by the total numbers of values. So it's like finding percentages, okay? So what percentage, what's the frequency of each of the numbers against the total number? So it's finding a percentage. So find the relative frequencies using the data in question 3, so this one, round to the nearest hundreds if necessary. So let's work with this data, use it right here. So it says 6th graders. So going to the musical. So we're gonna find each of the data. So what we're gonna do here is this is the total number of students. We're going to divide 27 divided by this, each of the numbers to find each of the data here, data points here. So let's start. So 27, first one, 27 divided by 120. Remember, that's my total, right? 27 divided by 120. That's my first number here. So that is 0.23. Okay, I'm rounding. All right, next number. 15 divided by 120. Well, 15 divided by 120. That is 0.13. So notice that I'm using this number, right? These numbers here. Okay, so that's the first one is 27 divided by 120. That's 0.23. 15 divided by 120. That's 0.13. 38 divided by 120. That is 0.32. All right, next one. I have 13. Let's look at this number, 80. 80 divided by 120. That's my total, right? That is 0.67. Then not going to the musical, let's start. So that's 13 divided by 120. That is 0.11. Next one, I have 17 divided by 120. I'm just finding the percentages there, the frequency. 0.14. And then I have next one, that's 10. 10 divided by 120. So divided by 120, and just using one decimal point. That is 0.08. And then I have here 40. 40 divided by 120. 40 divided by 120 is 0.33. All right, so same thing here, right? So I have 40, 32, 48, and then 120. Obviously, it's gonna be 120 divided by 120 is 1, and that is my point. This should be 1 here. So let's see. We have first one, 40 divided by 120. That is 0.33. 32 divided by 120. That is 0.27. And then lastly, 48, right here, 48 divided by 120. 48 divided by 120, that is 0.04. So if you add this, it should be 1, okay? You can try that. All right, so let's see, what percent of the students surveyed? So these are percentages. If you multiply by 100, it's a percentage, right? What percent of students surveyed were 8th graders? So 8th graders, that's 40%, because 0.40 times 100, right? Times 100 will give you the percentage. So that is 40%. What percent of the 6th graders plan to attend the musical? Well, 6th graders going to the musical, that's 23%. All right. What percent of 7th graders do not plan to attend the musical? Oh, right here, 14%. All right. It's all about reading the data here. All right. I hope this helps.